Hello, brick sculptors, and welcome back to Brick Sculpt. This is Chris, and it is time to update our Ultimate Pine Tree. That's right, this is the Ultimate Lego Pine Tree version 3. It's time for a new pine tree. Now, if you've been watching my channel for a while, about a year ago, I introduced this pine tree, and I was super proud of this. This was hard to build for me at that time, and the most detailed conifer tree. I always just say pine tree, but really it's just a conifer. It could be really any kind of conifer. But this was very impressive to me at the time, and I was very proud of it. And I still am. It's a good tree. But we did make some improvements, and I've introduced a few different pine tree designs. So this is the Ultimate Pine Tree 1.0. A little while later, I decided to introduce the Ultimate Pine Tree 2.0. Now, the Ultimate Pine Tree 2.0 is very different from the 1.0 because the 2.0 is inspired by the introduction of the new fern pieces. And this is my design, but not my idea. There are people all over the internet, including official Lego sets, that make pine trees with these fern pieces. So yes, the internal structure of this tree is my design, but if you know the concept, it's pretty easy to copy, so I really didn't think of this on my own. But nonetheless, that is the Ultimate Pine Tree 2.0. Now, I have some problems with this. The 1.0 definitely looks a little blocky in some spots and can use some improvements. The 2.0 is very clean. The problem I have with the 2.0 is it looks a little cartoonish. It depends on your building style. Some people like Lego to look a little blockier and a little more like a toy. Some people like Lego to look ultra realistic. The pieces on this, it's kind of like when you get some of the newer Lego play sets where they use larger, chunkier pieces as opposed to small detail pieces. And that's what I kind of get with this tree. You know, you have these larger elements making up all the leaves, though it is still a ton of pieces in this and very complex to build. It looks a little more, shall we say, generic, where this looks a little bit more crafted, at least to me. So I wanted to go back to a needle type design over the Ultimate Pine Tree 2.0, which in all honesty was kind of just like a copied design. Now, if you've been watching my new Lego Tree Sculptor series, I introduced this pine tree. And I've got two variations here, just different length stems. This one does have a little bit different detailing in the bottom here with more brown branches inside, where this one's basically just green throughout. But these trees, I think, look great. And we're definitely getting back on track with the original Ultimate Pine Tree here. So I was very proud with how those came out. And obviously the next segue was to create a new Ultimate Pine Tree 3.0. Now, before I do that, I did do a recolor of this, a little alt brick experiment here, and decided I wanted to make some blue spruce variations. So that's what we have here in sand green with dark gray trunks. I think those came out awesome as well, but it is just a recolor of that same tree. So nothing real proprietary there, just different colors for a different species of tree. But now I want to show you kind of how we took this and went to the next level. Now, with these newer tree designs, I had some branches facing downward with this 45-degree minifig posing stand piece pointing 3 layers of branches downward. And in looking at a lot of pine trees, some do point downward. In fact, this would be kind of a good example here as well. But many of them don't. They point either straight out or actually up. And I took that in consideration with my new Ultimate Pine Tree 3.0 design. And let me show you how it came out, and then I'll show you a little bit of how it's built. So here we have our new Ultimate Pine Tree 3.0. And this is built with a lot of the same concepts as these two trees, just on a larger scale and with more detailing at the bottom. Let me break this down a little bit and show you kind of what's inside this tree. So the top of this tree is quite similar to my design that I did in the Tree Sculptor series. Now, this tree being an Ultimate Pine Tree, it's a little more complex. So I'm not going to do a Tree Sculptor series on this. I'm not going to do a full parts list. I'm not going to do a full breakdown on how to build this. If you're creative and you use the design of that, you can pretty easily adapt it to something like this but I'm going to leave that up to you on this one. The top of this is very similar, but I did take out the angled pieces, and all the branches just stick straight out from the Travis bricks. So we basically just have layers of just 6 stem, 3 stem, then 6 stem, 3 stem, then 6 stem, 2 3 stems and 6 stem, 3 3 stems and 6 stem, just working our way gradually wider and wider. Now, this layer here, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 layers of Travis bricks down, they do have a spacer here, is where it starts to get a little bit different. And you can look at the base of this tree and see it's very thick, very dense, and has a very unique shape to it. It's a little bit more bulbous, and it kind of curls under even a little bit. So it gives it a nice shape, and then when paired with this top, I think it just looks awesome. But the way we do that is we start to use the angles of the stems as opposed to just having them come straight out from the center. Now at the top you can't really do that because it's just not wide enough. You're not building off of these stems, you're just building off the Travis bricks. So this first layer here, we have all these 3 stem pieces, but you'll notice we incorporate flowers. And these flowers allow us to attach to the 3 stem pieces and build outward more. Now on these, you can tell I pointed these stems up. So this layer actually curves up just a little bit. And all the needles are kind of at the top of the layer because it's all pointing upward. The middle ones are coming straight out, but there's 3 clusters on each of these Travis brick locations, which makes it nice and full and gives it that curving up look and feel. The next layer here, we go even more so. So we start to branch out here. We've got our candlesticks in here, bringing that middle piece out further. These also curve up, and they're just getting longer and longer as we get more toward the base of the tree. Now on this layer here, we start to get even more extreme. So each of these Travis brick connections is going to have a stem, another stem, 3 branches coming off the top, and 1 coming out of the center. So they have 4 clusters on each of these 4 positions to give it that real full look. Many of them, just not the middles, are pointing upward. So it gives that tree that upward curve, which gives it that real bulbous bottom and that kind of rounded shape at the bottom as well. This layer is quite similar, but just sticks out a little bit further. So you can see we have 4 clusters on each of these, and they're just coming further and further out. It does leave for some bigger gaps, but those can easily be filled in with the previous layer as you stack it on top, just like that. And the first layer here, there is no middle connection because we wanted to leave some bare branches underneath. They're all coming off the top of these stems. So they're all pointing upward. You got 3 clusters on each of the 4 Travis brick connections. And then I did stick this onto a bigger trunk. Being that it's a bigger tree, I used a 2x2 trunk instead of a 1x1 trunk. Now it doesn't stay wide up through the tree, but you're not going to see most of the trunk, especially down at the base. So I think it looks pretty good that way. So that makes for our Ultimate Lego Pine Tree version 3.0. And here you can see lots of detail. You can see right into the middle of the tree and see all those branches. I'm really happy with this design. I got a nice little forest going on here on the table. Let me know what you think of this design. Let me know if you like the progression here. I'm sure there will be an Ultimate Pine Tree 4.0 because I just keep improving on this design as I get better and better as a Lego builder. Well, I hope you guys like this video. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. I'm going to do more just like this in the future. That's all I have for this time, and we will see you next time.